Good morning. I hope you can hear me okay. I hope you cannot hear that loud noise in the background, but I'm afraid you can. We are having our house pressure washed because it needed it. So sorry about the loud noise. They're cleaning our house, and I hope you can still hear me. If not, I will delete this one and do it later. But I wanted to go ahead and get your story out to you for today. So this week, we have done frogs. And we've done some nonfiction true stories with information about frogs. And then we did some fiction fake stories about frogs. So I have one more book today about frogs. And it's a nonfiction book again. So it's going to be true information about frogs. Now, some of the pictures in here look like cartoons. They look like a cartoon drawing, but it's actually a nonfiction book. It's really long and it has lots of facts. So I'm not going to read every single thing on the page. I'm just going to try to read the main part, okay? So you might hear things you've already learned this week. I'm sure there'll be some of that. And then you might hear some new learning that you can add to your schema. So I hope you enjoy the book. World of Frogs. Frogs belong to a group of animals called amphibians. Ooh, there's some new learning for our schema. I don't think that's been in any other book we've read this week. Most frogs start life in water. Then they move onto dry land. Frogs come in many different colors and sizes. They can be as big as a football or as small as a grape. All right, so they're amphibians. They're not mammals, they're not birds, they're amphibians. All right, it says, here's a Goliath frog, which we talked about earlier in the week, a reed frog, and then down here it says, guess what? There's only one place where frogs cannot live, and that's in Antarctica, the South Pole, okay? On this side, here's some more frogs. All right, this one up here, that looks like he's jumping. Edible frog, mantella frog, and White's tree frog. And there goes Ross. Rossie, you're in Mommy's way. Sit down. All right, sorry. He's a little scared about the noise from outside, so he's kind of in my way. Sorry, guys. Sit down, Rossie. Sit. Sit down. Okay. He's out of the way. All right, a bullfrog. A bullfrog is a shy creature. Rossie. When something scares it, this frog quickly hops away and hides. Adult bullfrogs live on land, but they return to the water to find a mate. The female bullfrog lays her eggs in the shallow water. All right, so the bullfrog is going to be on the land most of the time, but then the mommy frog lays her eggs in the water. All right, are you ready for a joke? What is a bullfrog's, or any frog, I guess, what is a frog's favorite drink? You ready? A Croak-a-Cola. Croak-a-Cola. All right, from eggs to legs. From eggs to legs. Most frogs lay their eggs in water. A wriggling tadpole, which looks a little bit like a fish, hatches from an egg. A tadpole slowly changes shape until it turns into a fully grown frog. So it starts off as an egg, turns into a tadpole, like we learned earlier. Then over here, the next part is called, here's some new learning, a froglet. So a froglet is when he's not quite a frog and not a complete tadpole. He's still part tadpole, part frog. So an egg, a tadpole, a froglet, and then he loses his tail, becomes a frog. Okay, so there's some more new learning for our schema. The poison dart frog. We read about that one earlier this week too. It's hard to believe that tiny poison dart frogs are among the most poisonous creatures on Earth. Many animals stay far away from these frogs because they know their bright colors mean danger. Rossi. Sorry, guys. Okay, Ross. I don't think you can see him, but I can't see. All right, another joke. Are you ready? What's a frog's favorite sweet? A lollipop. Instead of a lollipop, a lollipop. What's for lunch? Frogs are not fussy eaters. They snap up any animal they can fit into their mouths. Their favorite tidbits are insects, worms, spiders, and snails. A frog swallows its food whole without biting it or chewing it. All right, so that's some new learning. We didn't know that. So they swallow it whole, like a snake. Open wide, a hungry horned frog needs a large lunch to fill its huge stomach. A frog's mouth is so wide that a frog can eat a mouse almost as big as itself. So that's the horned frog down here. Look how big that is. Look, he's eating that huge mouth, as big as him. Luckily, a leopard frog has really strong back legs for jumping. It leaps into the air and flicks out its tongue to catch insects as they fly by. Did you know that some frogs don't have tongues? I didn't know that. I thought they all did. They cram food into their mouths with their front legs. Huh. There's some more new learning. I didn't know that. A tree frog. Oh, we have tree frogs in Georgia. You can hear them. Tree frogs are champion climbers. They have sticky pads on their feet to help them cling to the branches. Often, a tiny tree frog is hard to spot because it blends in with the color of the tree where it lives. So they're hard to see, but you can definitely hear them. Ready for another joke? Where do frogs keep their money? In a riverbank. The skin they're in. The skin they're in. Frogs come in many different shapes, sizes, patterns, and colors. They may be large and squat, or small and thin. Squat is like wide or fat. Others blend in with their surroundings. A few frogs can even change color. All right, here's that frog. Do you remember we learned about this one earlier in the week? That tricks its predators by pretending like it has two faces. This is actually his booty, but it looks like it's his face, but it's actually his booty, so it's tricking his predators. All right. See-through skin. A glass frog has green see-through skin that helps it hide on rainforest leaves and branches. Guess what? Some frogs that have bright red eyes can even see in the dark. This Mylon horned frog looks like a dead leaf on the forest floor. It hides from hungry enemies or lies in wait for a yummy snack. Hop to it. Frogs move around in all sorts of ways. There are frogs that climb trees and others that burrow or dig underground, so like a rabbit or a gopher or a groundhog. Many frogs have huge webbed feet that help them swim through the water or jump through the air. Super swimmers. This common frog is a fantastic swimmer. It moves by kicking its powerful back legs and webbed feet. The frog feels for rocks and plants with its front legs. Guess what? One type of frog can jump 17 feet. That's almost 100 times the length of his own body. The great glider frog. Glider frogs seem to fly as they leap from tree to tree. They cover a huge distance in a single jump. Cool climber. This tree frog from North America, that's our continent, is great at climbing. Its long toes grip slippery branches tightly so that it doesn't slide off the tree. The digging dynamo. The Australian burrow frog is an expert digger. It burrows or digs underground to make cool shelter where it can hide from the blazing desert sun. All right, there's your regular common frog swimming. Here's your tree frog. Here's the gliding frog that looks like he's flying through the air, and the one that digs his burrow. All right, this one just has a little cartoon on it. On spring evenings, you can often hear frogs croaking around ponds. Frogs don't just croak for fun, it's their way of talking. The boy or male frog croaks to get the female's attention. That's like he's saying to the girls, hey girls, look at me, I'm a cute frog, look at me. That's kind of silly. The frog with the loudest and longest croak is the most popular frog. A choir of male frogs gets together and they croak in harmony. Female frogs have no voices or they're very, very quiet, so they just listen. The croaks of some frogs are beautiful to listen to, like a bird's song. Other frogs just sound terrible. Some frogs don't sound like frogs at all. There's a frog called a barking frog that wolfs like a dog and a pig for grunts. And a pig frog grunts. So there's a type of frog that sounds like a dog and one that sounds like a pig. That is crazy. I did not know that. This frog's croak can't be heard over noisy waterfalls nearby, so the frog sends signals by waving a bright blue foot in the air. All right, so a frog croaks to talk to each other to get their attention. Now down here at the waterfall, it says the waterfall is so loud that other frogs can't hear him, so he waves his foot in the air to get their attention. Time to go. When frogs croak, the noise sometimes attracts hungry animals, that are looking for a yummy frog snack. That's when it's time to hop away. Fast facts. 1, on these 2 pages, you can learn more amazing facts about frogs. All right, so on this one, it has all the different types of frogs. Well, not all, but some of the different types of frogs. We've done the poison dart frog and the Goliath frog. All right, we haven't read anything about the reed frog, so let's do that one. The reed frog, his favorite food is insects. He comes in many different colors. He also has spots and stripes on their skin. Reedy lake, they live in reedy lakes, ponds, and swamps in Africa. Their enemies are birds, lizards, and snakes. Here's an interesting fact. The male or boy reed frog has a really loud croak that can be heard 2 miles away. There's your reed frog. And the rest of them are ones we've talked about. All right, and then this just has some puzzles in it. You'd have to have the book to do it. All right, so that's the end of the story, boys and girls. So I learned some new things to add to my schema. So I hope you did too, and I hope you enjoyed this week on frogs. Check out the rest of the stories if you haven't had a chance this week. I love you, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.